When I think of the fun things I've done in my life, very high up on the list is a paper I wrote in 1989, and we're thinking about going back home, those of us in exile. And I wrote a paper, it was on culture, but it was really on what does freedom mean? What does it mean to be a South African? We knew it was the end of oppression, apartheid, division. And it opened with, we all know where South Africa is, but do we know what South Africa is? What does it mean to be a South African? And I'd spent 11 years in England in exile and another 11 years in exile in Mozambique. And it was in Mozambique that question of what does it mean to be a Mozambican became so pronounced, because Mozambique had been a colony, overseas possession of Portugal, and a small assimilated class was expected to drink wine and be Catholic and eat with a knife and fork, and that's what it meant to be a Mozambican, nothing at all. And through culture, through art, through expression, through coming together, to acknowledging diversity in a new Mozambicanization of Mozambique, through learning about the mountains and the rivers and the ports and the history and the culture of Mozambique, Mozambicans could become Mozambican. So I'm filled with all this. What does it mean to be a South African? And it meant, in a sense, a huge adventure into a kind of unknown territory where, instead of defining ourselves in terms of opposition and suppression and dreams of transformation and change, we're actually working together to bring about that change. And in bringing about that change, we discover what does it mean to be together. The day after I arrived back in Cape Town, it was then at the D.F. Milan airport, I'm taken by Professor Dalla Omar of the University of the Western Cape to the university to meet about 1,000 Muslim people who'd come from all over the country, wondering, democracy is coming, what does it mean to be a Muslim in democratic South Africa? And I think people there were very concerned. Do you enter that non-racial world and you leave behind anything that separates you from your fellow South Africans to become a good, beautiful, pure, forward-looking, non-racial South African? And my response to them, based on my Mozambican experience, was to say, non-racism doesn't mean non-personality, it doesn't mean non-cultural, it doesn't mean non-spiritual, it doesn't mean non-identity. You bring in who you are into the new democracy. You bring Islam in with you, you don't leave it behind. And I was told by some of the leaders there that this was like a huge element of enlightenment to them, because they'd been concerned about what non-racial democracy would require. And those intuitions that I had at that stage, based very much on the experience of Mozambicans Mozambicanizing themselves, not indigenizing themselves, not Africanizing themselves, but Mozambicanizing themselves, I found to be exceptionally helpful inside South Africa. So we're still learning, what does it mean to be a South African? Basically, to my mind, it means sharing certain deep, fundamental concerns: human dignity, equality, freedom. That's the platform. We bring in what we've got, we bring in who we are, we share, we interact, we learn from each other, and something emerges from them. Maybe it's a bit easier to see in a rugby match, where there are people with different skills and styles and manners and so on, working together as a team. They produce results that each one on their own couldn't do. As South Africans, I think that same sense of interaction, sometimes sharply, sometimes angrily, often with laughter, with culture, with song, with energy, with that lovely quality that you recognize it when you see it of South Africanness. So we become more and more South African all the time.